be here.
Yes, thank you for saying yes to my interview request, even
My
at the
pleasure.
despite the short notice. Yeah, thank you so much. But thank you for the time and effort in doing this interview. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for reaching out, for considering me in your super big platform and giving me the chance to really to expose myself, to really talk about myself, which I love doing that because I'm an expert. But mostly
Yes.
I can get to know you, and it's always lovely to meet more pageant fans. It's an amazing journey I'm having.
So, Paula, how are you feeling right now at this very moment?
At
Like,
this very moment, I'm great. Obviously, I'm getting to talk to you, and I all made up, and I did my makeup, and I'm very proud of it. And but
that,
yeah, basically, I'm super excited and very determined on what's coming very soon. I actually cannot imagine after months. Can I get 8 months of
yes.
waiting so much? It's
Uh,
finally happening, and I couldn't be more excited.
yeah. So no, 8 months. No, this is the. Pero has
Parang,
how has the experience been like? Kasi syempre sanay kayo sa traditional pageant format na in 3 weeks or maximum in a month you're finished, you're done. Pero this was stretched
definitely
to
stretched.
8 months. So yeah, so how did it feel like? Did you have a hard time adjusting? Did you feel like giving up at one point of the competition? Tell me your
Hmm.
thoughts about it.
Well, it has been, I call it a roller coasters. There were highs because obviously I got into Miss Universe Philippines. I'm a candidate, and that's something I always wanted to do. I I was there were so many possibilities, so many trips planned, so many plans. But then there were the lows because the pandemic happened. No one can go in, no one can go out. Everything got canceled, everything got delayed. So yeah, and obviously it was very hard, but there's no exceptions here. I wasn't alone in that sense, and I don't wish the bad in anyone. It's just it's more comforting knowing that you're not alone, and I relied a lot to my loved ones, my family and my friends, and they were such great. They were giving me so many reminders on why am I here, what am I doing, and what are my objectives. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here at all. And those are my really bases to keep on fighting and determined on what I'm doing right now. And now it's really getting near, and I'm so excited. Really, I cannot hold my excitement anymore.
Yes, alam mo, seeing you right now and hearing you speak, alam mo talaga, you seem to be like a woman full of life. Parang feeling ko hindi ka nalulungkot or masyado kang palaging, hindi naman happy-go-lucky, but alam mo yon, you seem to have a very happy disposition in life. I don't know kung magaling ka lang talaga magdala, pero kitang-kita yun, it's very evident in how the way you carry yourself in the pageant right now. You know, the thing
Thank
that gets
you. I get like when I hear these compliments, but thank you. Yes, I do get those compliments quite a sometime.
yeah, alam mo kasi ako, I still remember you. Remember the press presentation last February? That was the first time we were able to
It
see
feels
you
like
all, guys.
years.
It was really the first time to it was the very first time for me to see you all guys all in one lineup in
Yeah.
all in one lineup in a public setting, and I remember you really registered so strongly during the press presentation. Alam mo yung nung patapos na yung presentation tapos palakad na kayo, yung niro-roll call na kayo isa-isa until you all come down all the way to the stage. Alam mo yung tapos 'di ba you're the second girl in line. So syempre,
Correct.
alam mo yung parang sabi ko, sino tong babae to? Parang ang lakas ng ano.
Who's
Alam
this
mo yung parang
girl?
'di ba you were wearing this big.
The Mama Rene's design. It was like I felt like a flower, like floating around.
Oo. Yung, tapos the way you carry yourself, the way you move on stage, is like parang alta, parang, tapos taas, chin up, tapos parang, sa kusino to, ang lakas naman ng ano, dating, ang lakas ng confidence,
Thank
umaapaw
you.
sa sexiness at confidence. And just because of that, I put you in our top 5. So because who the hell is this? Until I realized, oh, she's Paula. She's Gabriela Ortega's sister. Oh, she's the one Gabby is talking about before. So, alam mo yon. So, how do you feel na parang a lot of people instantly during the press presentation, talagang they suddenly had you in their respective lists?
Obviously honored and very flattered because I really got really nice reviews from that day. I do remember a blogger who is still featuring me. He put me on the top 1, and I was so amazed by that because it was my first appearance and a lot of people really believed in me and saw my potential. So definitely I was very flattered, but I actually realized, I realized this recently, to really catch up people, to really make an impact to people, is to be yourself. And that day, I was having the moment of my life. I was wearing such beautiful clothes from Rene Salute, having beautiful hair and makeup made by Jim Ryan Ross, my amazing creative team. And the venue was so beautiful. Hotel Manila, such elegant place. And we had a red carpet. I mean, I felt like I was going to the Oscars for my premiere of my movie, you know?
Yes.
So I was just having my time of my life right there. And I think I really portrayed it right there. And people felt that energy and the excitement of that day. And that's why I think I really caught attention.
Yeah, diba? Super. Pero to be honest, pero I want to ask you,
Sure.
Is joining Miss Universe Philippines, has joining Miss Universe Philippines pageant a dream come true for you?
Definitely. Without a doubt. I have been pursuing pageantry for years already, and I really have trained and made a lot of choices, life-changing choices, in order to be here right now. And being able to display Albay on my sash and bringing pride for my mom's province and hopefully to the country is something that I really look forward to, and I am already so proud of doing that. And I feel the responsibility because Albay has a lot of renowned beauty queens. Our last Miss Universe was representing Albay, and there's the pressure, definitely. But for me, it's a good pressure. It's a challenge to represent the big province of Albay, and I am so proud to do that.
Wow, no pressure. Maragon. Did I say that? Oragon. What does Oragon mean?
It means like strong, like actually it might have sometimes it can have a negative connotation, but in Bicol, in Albay, it has its twist because it's related to the spiciness and the strong attitude that Albayanos have. And yeah, we say that a lot, like as a compliment, Oragon.
Oh, wait, before we proceed, can we greet the people who are tuned in right now? I think this is your relative or your dad or your tito from Sir Terry Ortega. Hola,
that's
Paula.
My dad. That's my dad.
Hello, sir. Hello. Thank you po for tuning in. Hola, Paula desde Barcelona. Te queremos.
Hola, Papa. Te queremos. Te quiero también, papi. I miss you so much.
And then, Krisa, Lan, and Kenzie Ongpauco are sending their love to you right now.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, alam mo, to be honest, I've always thought you're half Spanish just because of your fluency in the Spanish language. Yung pala, hindi pala. You're pure Filipino.
I am pure Filipino.
So can you tell us more about your background? So you were born and raised here. Oh yeah, all right.
Sure. So both my parents are Filipino. So that's why I am full Filipina. My dad is Ilocano and my mom is Bicolana. That's why I'm representing Albay. But I was just born and raised in Spain. And maybe you get that feeling of mixture because my lolo from my mom's side was full Spanish. My mom is mestiza, but my mom was born and raised in the Philippines, in Ligao City, Albay. So yeah, I am full Filipina by blood. I'm legally a Filipina, even I have papers. I have my passport, Filipino passport. But I was just raised in Spain.
So, how many years did you spend your childhood in Spain before you came back here?
Oh, I basically spent. Well, no, I'm lying. I'm lying. Sorry. When I was, I obviously don't remember a lot, but I have a lot of pictures. I stayed in Ligao City for months when I was only 2 years old. Mom,
Mm-hmm.
correct me if I'm wrong. And 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 then I stayed for a long while in Spain because school and then the traveling is not actually very cheap. It's actually quite expensive to travel to
Uh-huh.
the Philippines, and mostly in early times. Now it's way more affordable. And mostly these last years, when my sister moved in the Philippines, I got to visit her a lot of times, and that meant visiting my titos, my titas here, Albay,
Mm.
Philippines, and these last 4 years I have been coming back and forth, finishing my studies, visiting my family, and so on and so forth.
So, elementary and high school, dun ka sa Spain nag-aral?
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Even in, okay, tapos parang you always keep coming back and forth lang for vacation here. Pag may summer
Yes,
break
as much as
doon.
I can, and as much as I can. As I always try to do it myself. I'm a very independent woman, and I always try to pay for my things and yeah, get to afford them.
Kayong dalawa lang ba ni Gabby yung ang mag-sisters,
Correct.
magkapatid?
I have my
Ah,
older sister, Gabriela, and my younger sister, Monica. Monica's in Barcelona right now, studying to be a doctor. So yeah.
oh. Okay. Wow. So, ano yun, may interest talaga kayo sa, do you come from a family of physicians? Kaya lahat kayo parang sa
Nothing at all.
medicine ang linya?
My, I mean, I have a tito who's a doctor, cardiologist. Pero like my direct family, my dad is an engineer, my mom is a philologist, my sister is an architect, and just Monica and I, my younger sister and I, we're more on the healthcare. Me, I'm a nurse, and Monica's about to become a registered doctor.
So so from the way you narrate things, is it your dad's side yung naka-base doon sa Spain, sa Barcelona?
No, no. Just my parents are in Spain. I actually most of my titos from
Oh,
my dad's side are in the States. I have ones in New Zealand,
oh,
and mostly
ah,
of them in the Philippines. It's such a mixture.
oh. So after they got married, they moved to Spain already. That's where they
Correct.
settled.
Correct.
That's where they resettled, and then yun na. Tapos ikaw, you just keep coming back and forth here in Manila for vacation to
Correct.
visit your relatives, mom and all right. I
See.
see. Okay. So, eto naman ang tanong ko, how did the pageant bug hit you? Kasi nasa Spain ka, nag-aaral ka. So parang, alam ko rin naman, malaki rin pa ang pageant sa Spain. So how did the whole pageant thing get into you?
Definitely not from Spain. In Spain, not Latin American countries. In Latin American countries, it is very big thing, pageantry. But in Spain, only in the south it's more known of. But generally, people do not know much about women's beauty queens' influence on society. Actually, they still have this idea, the brain without beauty without wits. They really still have that idea, and even to these times, people still ask me, "Are you a model in the Philippines, or what are you doing?" No, no, I am a beauty queen. I want to become a Miss Universe Philippines to represent my country. And they're like, "Is that modeling then?" So I really have to explain myself. But really, what came my bug for beauty pageantry? It was definitely my sister. My sister is the first one to join pageantry, and yeah, she told me all about it. I got to be with her when she was joining Miss World Philippines and living it from first hand, even though it was in the background. And yeah, she told me everything about it and how exciting it is. And she knows me best. She knows me because she's my older sister, and she told me, "Paula, you should really do this because I know you. I know that you have the potential, and I know that you're gonna love it." And she was damn right.
So do you consider her as your ultimate role model?
I consider her my base for everything I have gone through pageantry. She has been my mentor, my advisor, my teacher for Pasarela, for Q&A, my personality development teacher, and she's also my best friend because she has helped me so much, and she's my sister, and I couldn't be more proud of her, and I really love her. Hola, Ati.
Wow, that's nice to hear. What has been the most important advice that you've gotten from her since your Miss Universe Philippines journey?
Definitely, it would be which is a comment that I really get, and mostly from my loved ones. But from her, it was the first statement of people will tell you what to do. People will tell you what is best for you or what is wrong for you. But as long as you know what is the best for yourself, keep going with that and listen to yourself mostly. So I always kept that
Mm.
with myself.
What has been the part of your training with her that you enjoy and dislike the most too?
I really enjoy doing pasarela with her because she makes it very fun. She
Talaga.
she makes me laugh a lot because she likes really she's like it actually when you catwalk when you're on stage it's a bit like a theater, like you're the star up there, so you have to
A
act it out and
performer.
a performer pa. So you really have to bring that personality and that, yeah, the eagerness and the excitedness, no? And my sister really trained me for that, and she told me, come on, you have to think that you're a princess, you're like from a Disney movie, for example, for the evening gown. I have to think that, and she keeps saying sentences while I walk, and I really laugh a lot with her. And something I dislike would be mostly the styling part because sometimes I'm a bit clueless and she's like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And sometimes it can get very messy, and obviously we fight because we're sisters. But yeah, and we always draw the boundary, say sorry to each other, and then we keep on.
So she's not that strict with you when it comes to prepping you up for this.
She's one of the most strictest teachers I've ever had. She is. She is. But because in a good way. I mean, she really means the best for me, and she wants to give me the best teaching. And obviously, coming from her, she has a big background in pageantry. I mean, what's better teacher the one who went through it, diba? So she knows what is going on in this world, and she wants to instill me that like this, like, forcing
Yeah.
it kind of. But I know she really means well, and I don't. It's not that I don't mind, but I know that she's trying to do her really best for me, and it's something that I will always appreciate and be grateful for.
That's nice to hear. So is Monica also following both your footsteps?
Not really. She's more of an introvert, though she really has the potential. We always say that to her because she's definitely very intelligent. I mean, she's going to become a doctor, and to become a doctor, you must have the skills mentally, and she's
Yes.
super capable, and she's very beautiful too. I mean, it's in the family. But
Yeah.
anyways, she doesn't want to, and we obviously respect that for her. Respect her for that.
All right. That's nice to hear. No, I could imagine your sister. I've never met her, so I could imagine based from your description, she's also beautiful.
I can show you
Diba?
pictures, like from catwalking and so on. She's very, very beautiful.
Yeah. So speaking of medicine,
Yeah.
speaking of doctors, medicine,
Mm-hmm.
why
Mm-hmm.
did you take up because here in your bio, it says here that you graduated with a degree in medical laboratory technician in Barcelona and work as a laboratory assistant afterwards. So how did your interest in medicine begin?
Definitely, since very young age, I've always been interested in biology. I would always get A's from biology, but mostly from human biology. I've always been interested and intrigued how the body works, and it's such a whole world, our body itself, how it manages to adapt to the circumstances and to regenerate, but also how it can decay if you don't take care of it. And it's something that always have been interested me. And it was recently when I was 20, I realized my nursing path. I've always had a nature to help people. I love really, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I love helping people. It really fulfills me as a person.
Mhm.
So when I got to work in the laboratory at San Pau de Barcelona, I got to meet a lot of healthcare workers, and that included the nurses. And when they told me about their job, I was like, that is actually for me. I love interacting out with people and helping them with my knowledge in human biology. So it came up to being a nurse, and I absolutely adore being a nurse. It's something, again, very fulfilling. The fact that you can help people and give them a smile, that is
Mhm.
priceless.
So double degree ka.
Oh.
Oh, dude, wow. So ano ka pala, super, I mean, of course, we are in a pandemic right now. I mean, for sure, if you were not competing in Miss Universe Philippines right now, you could have been juggling both
Oh,
jobs
oof.
and very in demand ka.
If you know how much I struggled because of that, it's mainly because I'm not registered here. I didn't have the time off for doing that because I graduated this January 2020, and as soon as I got the degree on my hand, I went straight to the Philippines for the pageant. And I obviously didn't have time to register, and then the pandemic happened, so obviously everything was closed down. I couldn't register, so I couldn't work as a nurse. And believe me, it was the most frustrating thing in this pandemic for me, not having the tools and the knowledge to help people and not being able to do anything at all. It was very, very frustrating, and really
Mhm.
went through bad times because of that.
Yeah, no. But, now that you mentioned about it, yung pandemic, do you think na you took a very relevant course?
Oh
Na,
yeah,
wow, it comes in
really.
very handy given our situation right now.
Yeah, definitely. Even though I didn't get to be a frontliner, which again I would have loved to be one, I got to be it virtually. Thanks to the Miss Universe Philippines pageant and platform, I got to reach out to a lot of people virtually through Instagram, Facebook, social media, basically, and giving them my insights as a nurse, but also as a spokesperson on things that really matter. For example, articles regarding the studies about COVID, some speculations, fake news. I really got my insight there, like this is not real, this is correct, you should do this, you should do that, and really give my ideas about that. And actually, it helped a lot of people. And now with my job, actually, I got a job this year, through this pandemic, and I did
What is
something
it?
like that. So I got carried away.
No,
I
no,
took
no, it's okay. We want to get to know more of you. So like especially the things that you have been doing since this pandemic began. Yeah, go ahead.
So obviously, I have to sustain myself economically, di ba? I mean, I'm not
Yes,
made of
definitely.
money, and I'm
Of
not
course, of
from
course.
a wealthy family. So I had to find a job, and I was blessed and lucky enough to find a job and something that I actually really love doing. I'm working in a BPO here in Makati. I had to move in Makati in order to work, and what I do, I am a health and wellness supervisor for the BPO. It's like an HR department. I'm actually the supervisor right now. It's a new brand thing that my company decided to have because they want to really invest on the employees. So what I do now, I really give them my insights as a nurse again virtually through via online chats. And for example, if they have sick leaves, I check up on them, like, how are you feeling, what happened, tell me more about it. And I give my insights, like indications on what they should do to avoid it, prevention keys. But mostly the most impactful thing I have done for myself and other people is the one-to-one sessions. There were individual sessions to all the employees, and there were more than 200 employees. So it was very long, but really fulfilling kasi it was asking the employees working from home through these very hard times, how are you? These three words can do such a great impact on people who are struggling right now. Really, just to check up with these people can do wonders. And I really reach out to a lot of people who are really struggling. Actually, some people had suicidal thoughts. So yeah, and I really got to help them, to give them my insight, like you're valuable, you're worth, and in this society, you're loved by your family, and just give them my insight that some things are uncontrollable right now, like this pandemic. We cannot do anything about it, but you can do something about yourself, taking care of yourself, loving people, helping people. So yeah, and then I really felt doing great doing that because again, I love helping people.
So hindi ka lang pala naging registered nurse, naging ano ka na rin pala, guidance counselor ka na rin at the
Yeah,
same
exactly. Something like
time.
that. Guidance counselor, you can call
Naging
it that.
naging flexible ka na rin. So, yeah,
Of
so
course.
what can you say about, as a registered nurse,
Mhm.
by hindi pa malaman, or by profession could I say it, and and as a sort of like an acting like a guidance counselor in your in that BPO company,
Mhm.
how do you think Filipinos should respond to this health crisis we are in right now? Do we think that we should still be more positive despite that the cases or the numbers are not very encouraging?
I completely understand you because I sometimes feel discouraged when I see so many cases coming up. But personally, I give it to the chance because we have more testing going on. A lot of people are really testing themselves in order to prevent it. And if you test that person earlier, that means that that person will quarantine properly, avoiding to spreading the virus. And that's a whole concept of contact tracing. So that is why we're getting more cases. And I really um, give that idea to everyone because again, we're detecting the virus. It's a beginning to really lessen, to lower the curve, diba? And also we have to be positive. And I don't mean toxic positivity to be always happy go lucky. It's okay to be sad, it's okay to be anxious, it's okay not to be okay. And you can, in those times you have to rely on your friends and your loved ones. Pero this is a pandemic. This is happening to everyone. There's no exceptions. And in order to overcome it, we have to work together. To work together, to be healthy, to have a proper healthcare system, which I always will instill on everyone, and to be responsible, to be aware of the situation, to work together for that. And with that, we can overcome literally anything.
Is that the biggest lesson, one of the lessons that you have learned so far?
Yeah, definitely one of them is really uh, well, actually I got a lot of lessons in this pandemic. Again, struggles makes you overcome obstacles and get to learn about yourself, diba?
Yes.
And one of them, again, it's by working together. And I have really seen the Bayanihan experience, spirit here in the Philippines, how helping a lot of people can do wonders. And if we work together with that, we can do whatever we can do within our hands. But
Mm-hmm.
also another learning I got this pandemic is that we cannot control everything. There are things you can control and things you cannot control. So try to avoid those things you can control because again, you cannot do anything about them. And instead do something with the things you can do for yourself and to the people around you. By first of all, self-care, to be mentally and physically healthy for this pandemic. Also, yeah, there's so many things you can do to the community, to helping charities, to um, charities, and what's the word? I forgot the word, but
Uh,
really movements to work together to help a lot of people. So yeah, and with that, you create a big impact to the society, and actually will affect the things you cannot control. So yeah, and it's about that.
so you feel that it's making you a better person compared to when we were starting the pageant before the pandemic?
I have been I it's not a better person because I am better. It's very general. It's definitely more wiser. I have become more wiser in these times because in hard times you get to learn about yourself, about your values, your core values, and this this struggle has been very hard for everyone. So it made me it has been an eye opener for me, definitely.
you know, you know, you've encountered so many struggles in terms of how you will push through still with your candidacy or even look for a
Oh
job to
yeah.
sustain you economically. So I'm curious to ask, what gives you hope or inspiration to power through despite in this competition and makes you say na, okay, it's still gonna be worth it in the end.
Definitely the impact I have done so far, and I don't even have the title. You know, I was able to reach out again to a lot of people, to get to know a lot of people virtually, and really got their insights, and I gave them my insights, and you, because of that, I became very excited on what's to come. Imagine if when I get the title, what big things will come with that, you know? So with that, I really keep myself determined for the crown.
True. Yeah. So, ang dami mo rin talagang natututunan no, about yourself when faced with a certain situation. 'Di
Hmm.
ba? So, apart
Definitely.
from pwede ka pala maging guidance counselor, na pwede ka palang, alam mo yun, kasi it seems that you're a very expressive person, you're
Yes, I
very
am. I'm an
eloquent.
open book, as you can see.
Yeah. So, what is one interesting thing or trivia people still don't know about you?
mm, Definitely. People really think I'm an alta person. That's a lot of people what they got from me. I'm
I
not
do. Kasama ako doon.
approachable. But it's okay. It's okay. I mean, I was just being a superstar that there. So people might think that I'm like that. But really, I'm actually very approachable and warm person. And if you ever see me on the street with social distancing, please say hi to me because I will be more than happy to greet you. And again, I'm very approachable and I love to say hi to people and to give them a smile. So really, I am not an alta person at all. I'm actually very humble. That's word humble.
Yan, no? Kasi, yeah. Pero, dalang-dala mo naman eh. Pero siguro nga, pag hindi ka nga talaga nila kilala, di ka
Mhm.
talaga, isipin talaga nila na you're suplada, you're
Yeah, I
ano.
got that. And I, me, so plata. You don't know me at all then.
Yeah. Di ba? So, I'm curious to ask, you seem to be nga, lively, expressive, fun to be with. So, I'm curious to ask, what do you do for fun? Especially before pandemic time.
I am a social butterfly, and that's why this pandemic has been very hard for me. I love hanging out with my friends, going out to have a coffee or some drinks, I obviously. And I love dancing. I really love dancing. Social dancing, it's a hobby I really got this last year. I love bachata and salsa, and social dancing is my life. And I really like interacting with a lot of people and getting to know a lot of people. So, yeah, and I love doing that.
It seems to me that you were heavily influenced by the Spanish culture, no?
Puede. I'm not gonna lie there for sure. And but
Uh,
my parents actually are great dancers. I think actually I got it from them. If I think about it, my parents are great dancers. My father would always take me out to dance and like in a fun way. But my dad knows how to lead, and that's very important in dancing. So yeah, and then it got obviously the Latin influence, which is very strong right now. And there's a lot of Latin singers who are becoming international singers and yeah, that type of music, it really gets into your head.
uh True. Pero ang ganda ng fusion sa eh kasi parang you get to combine the Spanish culture and even our culture to you at such a good stead. Tama ba 'yon? Na
Yeah.
parang oo,
Oo. Kasi actually, I think it's definitely an advantage for me that the fact that I am so multicultural in a way, and but really I get to since I understand Spanish is the third language most spoken in the world, so I can really communicate with a lot of people already with English and Spanish, and I'm very open minded because of that, and gave me a lot of background because of that.
so so alam mo hearing all your stories
Uh-huh.
and your background makes me say na talagang even without you joining it, the competition, the Miss Universe Philippines competition, talaga you seem to be a very empowered woman in your own right. Parang
Thank
you're an
you.
achiever, a go-getter. So do you think you could have never chosen a more perfect pageant other than this one?
Miss Universe. I mean, who doesn't want the universe, right?
Yeah. So talagang ano no, talagang you grew up, heavily influenced. So what is it about Miss Universe? You could have joined other pageants here in the Philippines, but
Hmm.
what is it about Miss Universe Philippines that's really, making you say na, yes, I made the right decision to join this pageant?
I still think that I made the right decision in joining this pageant because, first of all, now it's very timely. I think beauty pageants are very relevant and mostly in the Philippines because they're such a big influence in society and to the people. And we just want to give an image of hope and something to look forward for a better future, diba? So, and that is something I always aim to do. So yeah, and I think Miss Universe, just by that fact, it's really something that was meant for me. But also, when I got here in the Philippines, ASAP, like it was super. I didn't have any plans when I got here, and it just happened that Miss Universe was doing the submission, and in 2 days prior, I was getting my hair ready, my clothes ready to give my all my papers I had in the moment to submit for the submission for Miss Universe, and obviously I had doubts because there were other pageants happening around, but I always strive for the best. My family taught me to go for the best, and again, who doesn't want the universe? So yeah.
So how do you sum up your Miss Universe Philippines journey so far?
A roller coaster because
Yeah,
they have been
no.
super highs again, so many plans, so many things to plan, and so many people to meet, and then whew, pandemic, nothing. That's it. And I actually really thought it was going to be canceled, but then they decided to push it through, and I that's when I questioned myself: what am I doing here? Why should I stay here? I'm not even a nurse here, so what's the point? But I relied on my family, on my loved ones. They saw because they really already see the potential in me. And sometimes you forget about that, diba? So they gave me all of these insights and what is to come. And I am now so grateful that I decided to stay and to push through with this path because I got to do so many things despite the obstacles and to meet more people. I got to meet Sotomini Tunsi the other day. I was so, oh my God, she's amazing. And yeah, there's so many opportunities happening. So imagine how much can be going in just a week. So yeah, super excited, really.
So laban Paula, laban.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Laba.
So before we go to the next portion of the interview, can we give a shout
Sige.
out to all the people who are still tuning in?
Oh, of
Kenzie
course.
Ongpangko has been saying, "You scream Miss Universe Philippines. I hope you meet Paula Sugar." Coco Rivera
Whoa,
is saying, "You're very smart and spontaneous."
whoa, thank
Ted
you.
Teddy Maranan is saying, "You have a beautiful heart, a Miss Universe indeed." Um,
Hi, Teddy.
yeah. So even your stylist. Hi, Sir Jim Ryan. Hi,
Ah,
Sir Jim
Jimmy!
Ross.
Do you
You
like my
really have.
makeup?
Sige, highlight natin yan. Oh, Sir Jim, do you like her makeup daw today?
Kasi because in the contest we have to do our makeup.
I
Makeup
heard.
artist and hairstylist won't be allowed to reduce the chances of getting the virus. So we have to do it ourselves, and I had to learn in a very stressing way because it was like so prior before getting to isolation. So hopefully I did justice to your teaching, Jim. I hope that you like it. Look at the picture.
So what do you think, Sir Jim? Okay, wait, there's a question here. Okay, before, do you
No, okay.
think,
Sure, sure,
from
sure.
Tofi Kababat, do you think that pageantry objectifies women?
No, no, definitely no, and mostly in these times, not at all. I think really pageantry has evolved with the times, and thanks to women empowerment movements, pageantry has took its step with that, and now it's more about our hearts, our kindness and our passion to drive our countries and whatever matters are happening in the world and in the universe. So I don't think it's not only about the body and the physique, but it's mostly about the heart. And I don't think they're objectifying women anymore.
Exactly, diba?
Mm-mm.
So,
And I mean, in 2018, the first transgender woman. I mean, what's more empowering than giving more voices to speak out? So yeah, so I don't really see that.
So kunwari so you're okay with competing with transgenders?
Of course, I am 100% agree with that because I came from Spain and the first Miss Universe transgender woman is from Spain.
Yeah.
So I really understand that background because I grew up with it. We are Spanish people. We are very welcoming and respecting in terms of gender and identification of your choices. And I really believe that we should step it up. And if someone claims is a woman, no one should doubt that, and no one should question that because it's your choice, your body. So you speak out your mind about it, and no one should do it. No other people should do it. And I really, really hope that the next country that brings a transgender woman would be the Philippines because we have such a great and loving LGBT community and very empowered one, yeah. And they still don't have the recognition. So what is best than giving them one of the biggest platforms for the transgender people, diba?
Ako alam mo, I wanna ask that premise kasi 'di ba we've been colonized. The Philippines has been colonized by the Spaniards for